Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our event today. We're going to go ahead and get started with a short video while people are still joining us, and then we'll get started.
In the rhythm of life, energy isn't constant. It fluctuates. But what if you could optimize your energy for every moment? It's about understanding your body's needs and providing it with the fuel it craves. Whether it's a nutritious snack, a refreshing beverage, or a well-balanced meal. It's not just about energy, it's about the right energy at the right time to power through and conquer life's challenges. Because optimal energy isn't one size fits all, it's about customizing your energy solutions to meet your unique needs. Glanbia Nutritionals is your partner to help formulate the right solutions for your energy needs. Whether it's a quick burst of energy or the energy to win the day, at Glanbia Nutritionals, we understand how to create the optimal product for optimal energy. From off-the-shelf and custom premix solutions to our comprehensive array of bioactives and protein solutions, we can deliver energy solutions into a range of formats, such as beverages, bars, or essential vitamins and minerals. Because at Glanbia Nutritionals, we know optimal energy comes in all shapes and sizes.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today, and welcome. My name is Bill Walczyk, and I'm the Senior Customer Marketing Manager at Glanbia Nutritionals. If you're unfamiliar with Glanbia Nutritionals, we are a global leader in innovative nutrition to many of the world's greatest brands. We're the #1 producer of U.S. whey protein isolate, the #2 global supplier of micronutrient premixes, and the #1 producer of American-style cheddar cheese, just to name a few. Now, we are excited to be partnering with the Food Institute and discussing the exciting trends in the evolving energy market. I'm joined today by the CEO and Managing Partner of the Food Institute, Brian Choi. Welcome, Brian. Would you like to say a few words about the Food Institute?
Absolutely. So the Food Institute is a global B2B media company focused on insights-driven content. We cover food manufacturing, food service, food retail. We've been around since 1928. Super excited to be partnering with Glanbia Nutritionals on this webinar.
Great. So today I'll be sharing information from our latest health and wellness attitude and usage study, which comprises of UK and US consumer information about their attitudes and usage across the health and wellness category. We designed the study to go deep into a few markets for two primary objectives. One is to identify the health and wellness of consumers today and understand the needs that drive their choices, but also their unmet needs. And #2, to understand cross-category navigation, so how they interact and consume across multiple product categories. And Brian will be sharing some macro trends and insights around the energy category as well. So after that, we'll share a brief product spotlight, some solutions to optimize energy, and then if we have time, we'll open it up for some Q&A. So at the end of the presentation, please feel free to enter your questions in the chat box below. So Brian, what are the top mega trends the Food Institute is finding in food and beverage?
Sure. So I'll touch upon this very quickly, and I'll focus a little bit on the health and wellness side. So #1, inflation is front and center. Even though we've seen headline inflation come down over the past 2 to 3 years, it's still front and center for consumers, right? So consumers' wallets are stretched. What they're buying, how they're buying is impacting the way they eat on a day-to-day basis. Sustainability, environmental sustainability, kind of ESG is a key theme that we're seeing in a lot of companies, but also consumers as well. And personalization, I would even call it hyper personalization. Consumers want to eat on their own terms, at the right price, in their own way. And we're going to touch upon this theme also later in this presentation. Food tech, and this encompasses both automation, AI, and I would even say biotech as well. So there's a lot of new technologies out there that are formulating new types of food and beverage products that really help health and wellness. And that's not #5, right? So health and wellness is a key topic. And I just wanted to highlight 3 areas that consumers are focused right now. So one is immunity, especially as we come off COVID. immunity and being able to protect oneself from different types of sicknesses, and doing it naturally is a key focus. Number two, not surprisingly, is weight loss, right? So consumers are looking for low sugar, zero sugar options. And it's also interesting to see the GLP-1 types of products out there as well, also being very popular amongst consumers. And three, which is the focus of today, is really on energy need states, right? Consumers are looking for energy. Their day-to-day patterns have been shifted quite significantly since pre-COVID to now. And so different need states of energy is front and center for a lot of consumers. And I'll touch upon the next slide. Just to set the stage here, and when we say health and wellness, I think the terms mean things that are different to different consumers. So the old way of looking at health and wellness was really kind of that pyramid structure, right? You had 6 to 11 servings of bread, of carbs. You have 2 to 4 servings of fruits and vegetables, protein and dairy. During COVID over the past 3 years, that whole model was flipped upside down, right? And so what consumers were really thought, as they think about health and wellness, as we think about health and wellness on the Food Institute, it's really a holistic model. And this encompasses both physical, emotional, mental, which is a huge factor now, and also some of the social and environmental factors as well. And our friends at the Hartman Group really did a great study that identify what consumers think about health and wellness, and how companies are looking at health and wellness going forward. And third, a major theme, and this ties into kind of how consumers are eating and drinking these days, is that the traditional 3 meals a day, that is really shifting, right? As day-to-day kind of requirements and working from home have really become the norm, consumers are snacking more now than at any moment in history, right? So, Food Institute partnered with Mondelez on a study on how consumers are eating, and in particular how they're snacking. And what we found is that more consumers are snacking around the world. And this is a study that with over 27 countries, each country over 1,000 people as part of the sample. So that went up from 78% to 86% of the consumers sampled. They are snacking more. And not only that, they are each per capita, they're snacking more as well. And so what are the growth drivers? Really, that morning and afternoon day part has seen significant growth, right? And that's not surprising, right? As people work from home, they're constantly eating. They need that quick energy boost in the morning. They want that sustained energy boost in the afternoon. What we're also finding is that consumers are skipping meals more at any point in time than in history as well. Over that same 8-year period, that number of consumers skipping meals went up from 30% to 40%, which is a huge jump over that 8-year period. And lastly, but not least, especially when you look at the younger demographic, Gen Z and millennials, they're snacking more, both food and beverage, and they really dominate the snacking category. And last but not least, I did want to touch upon kind of when you look at it across country, two of the countries which Bill highlighted in an earlier slide, the US and UK, they're close to 50%, if not greater than 50% of the consumers are skipping meals, right? So what's the alternative? They're snacking more. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Bill.
Great, thanks, Brian. Yeah, it's really interesting as snacking is increasing. Consumers are really managing their energy throughout the day that way, and it's a fascinating thing for sure. So some trends that we see are, one is energy and alertness are the top health claims in product launches in North America. Number two, we see that energy drinks represent the largest share of functional beverage market and are expected to grow 3% annually over the next 5 years. Now, consumers want natural ingredients, so they want to focus around low sugar or no sugar, high in protein and natural caffeine options. Energy plus, so they want their energy, plus they want functional benefits like brain health and mental focus and immunity, as you mentioned previously. And then mental health, mental well-being is recognized by consumers as just as being as important as physical well-being. So it's not just about the physical side of things, it's the mental side of things as well. And then lastly, optimizing energy. So consumers are proactively boosting their energy levels to optimize their day rather than being reactive. And we'll talk quite a bit about that today. Now we want to focus in on the energy market in food and beverage. And it starts with the idea of how consumers are approaching the energy needs today. Now, our research indicates that energy management is multidimensional. So imagine there's this daily energy baseline that symbolizes the energy consumers need on a daily basis to keep going or to stay on an even keel. But when consumers fall below this line, managing energy becomes reactive, such as a kickstart or a mid-afternoon slump, or a recovery after exercise to replenish what has been lost. So consumers are seeking to recover, re-energize, and return to the line both physically as well as mentally. But consumers are also thinking about a newer dimension to their energy management, a more proactive approach to get ahead of their energy needs. Now, these needs are sustained energy and quick burst energy, and they both sit above this line. So the need for sustained energy, which is to ensure I'm operating at the top of my game, is a proactive energy management to get the most from your day. Now, in this phase, consumers are conscious of crashes and blood sugar management. But the need for quick burst energy involves peak performance during a demanding time, as well as focus and concentration. So consumers are seeking this type of energy to boost their performance to get to the next level as related to work, fitness, or even gaming. Now, this energy is proactively managed to ensure that the energy is available during that time that is demanded the most. So this reframing from energy management, whether the needs sit above or below the line, illustrate how consumers think about energy far more than just physical components of energy. So consumers are seeking energy to support their holistic health and vitality and their mental and physical well-being. So with that, Brian, I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, I love it when the theory actually matches with the data. And so going back to the study that the Food Institute partnered with Mondelez on, and just looking at snacking behavior throughout the day. Now, again, just a reminder, this is across 27 countries, each country having over 1,000 sample size. And what we found is that on both the food and the beverage snacks, consumers are snacking throughout the day. I think, before the pre-pandemic, you probably saw spikes at different points throughout the day. But here, what we found is that need for consistent energy, consistent eating, consistent snacking throughout the day is the norm. And I mentioned in an earlier slide that really that morning day part, that growth in snacking, 42% growth in over an 8-year period. The afternoon kind of day part snacking up 22%. Really you're seeing a flat line in both food and beverage snacks pretty much throughout the entire day. What we found out is also, so why are consumers snacking, right? And I think Bill mentioned it in a previous slide, is that in that morning category, consumers are looking for sustaining, for nourishment. They're looking for energy. They're looking for fuel. And that's no surprise. In the afternoon, it's really about that sustained energy, what Bill was talking about, reset and refresh, pick me up, connecting with friends, with colleagues. These are some of the main categories why consumers are snacking. And not surprisingly, in the evening day part, it's really about mindful indulgence, right? Rewarding yourself at the end of the day. Obviously not going overboard, but just making sure that sugar consumption, whether it's that chocolate, is minimized, but still giving you that treat at the end of the day. So really that combination of theory and the data, it perfectly matches. And just going over to the next slide, what are consumers actually consuming, right? So this is fresh data. This is what we pulled as of February 2024. And just looking at the growth rate in both the energy drinks, but also in the performance bars, the health bars, really interesting to see that continued growth. What was really surprising is really on the energy drink side, we're seeing double-digit growth every single year over the past 3 years, right? So 27% growth, 15%, 13% positive growth year over year. This last 52-week period, $6.9 billion, really kind of shows you that consumers are looking for that energy, right? And really kind of in a beverage format is really what's most resonating with consumers today. On the energy bar category, it's not as high of a growth rate, but it's still significant, right? We're still seeing positive growth, 12%, 5%, 3.9%. The past 52-week period, $3.1 billion in sales. And yeah, really, I think this really kind of caters to that sustained energy, as opposed to that quick burst energy, what Bill was mentioning. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Bill.
Right. So now let's talk a little bit about energy management. So now that we know a little bit more about what's happening in the energy market and how consumers are proactively looking at their energy, let's break them down into 3 need states. The first one being quick burst. So to get over a dip in energy, to get back on track, the need for quick energy. Now this could be, let's say, prior to a workout or a sporting event. Number 2 would be gap fills. So this could be a snack to keep you filled between lunch and dinner. We just talked a lot about snacking. So it's something to ease the bridge between the meals. And then sustained vitality, the energy that would be needed for a longer period of time to keep you on the top of your game. And if we're talking physically, it could be like a 100-mile bike ride. But when we look at the energy management need states in terms of product format, they each have a different outcome. And I love this slide. For example, quick burst is 80% driven by beverages. While gap fill is almost all in food, that's almost 90% food driven. Sustained vitality is evenly split between beverage and food. So when we're developing a product, it's really nice to have this information to create the right type of product and ingredients for those specific need states. Now, quick burst and sustained vitality are the most frequently sought after need states. So we're going to focus in on just those 2 need states. To reiterate what we just went over is that when we talk about quick bursts, we're looking at that energy both physically as well as mentally for a shorter period of time. Think the need to perform. And then when we look at sustained vitality, it's a longer duration or of energy needed. And again, both physically and mentally. And this is typically split between food and beverage choices. Now, to further focus in on the importance of these need states, we'll compare them to other consumption occasions where consumers are most likely to spend more money and put a premium on these needs. So for example, if we look at pleasure, it would be like having a guilt-free treat or a snack while in a relaxing moment. And then goal support, which is around building your body or keeping your weight under control. And as you can see here is that consumers are willing to spend top dollars on getting that quick burst of energy and sustaining their energy, and consider quick burst and sustained vitality a premium need. So this is an important category to have high quality ingredients. Now, in terms of taste and health trade-off, the consumers that look for a quick burst of energy favored heavily on taste, more so than the health benefit. So really focusing on flavor here. And for sustained vitality, it was health-led and less importance on taste. So they're really focusing on the quality and the benefits of those ingredients. Now, when we look at the consumers looking at in beverage and what those characteristics look like for both quick burst and sustained vitality need states, I'll start with quick burst first. So consumers want their beverages to be caffeinated, to be fizzy, to be carbonated and strong in flavor. Where sustained vitality, they want hydrating, refreshing, non-carbonated, and light in flavor. So there are some differences in those need states. Now, when we look at each category when it comes to snacking, you can see high protein shows up in both these categories. Now, this makes sense because protein does keep you satisfied for a longer period of time. But if we focus in on quick burst for a moment, it tends to lean higher as a snack that is crunchy and crispy in texture, while sustained vitality leans more towards a sweet tasting food. Also to note is that sustainability was really important with consumers in the sustained vitality category around packaging, ingredients, and sourcing here. Now we look at the product preferences of each category, and I'll start with quick burst first and the beverage side. So we already talked about energy drinks being the number one there, right? So we also look at pre-workout and functional iced coffee drinks. And then we look at food, the food portion of quick burst. We're thinking about better for you bakery or better for you confectionery. Now, on the sustained vitality side of things, and again, starting with beverage first, sports and electrolyte drinks stood out, and super juices, functional coffees, functional smoothies. And in terms of food, we're looking at low carb, high protein chips, crackers, pretzels, and chickpeas, lentil snacks, and of course, protein cereals, which have been growing as well. So the broad energy landscape is shifting tells us three things. Number one is that energy needs consumers have are far broader than before, during or after exercise, and are more relevant than just the active people. It's expanding beyond that segment. So this ever broadening landscape, we will say, will continue to expand. Number two, this is that consumers desire better for you energy. Now, our research has pointed to the consumer's desire for greater levels of naturalness, products that are positively nutritious, kinder to the environment, and deliver against holistic energy, both physically as well as mentally. And then thirdly, our assessment of the marketplace shows that energy offerings will shift to meet the additional need states, as we demonstrated here with to optimize their energy with both quick bursts as well as sustained vitality needs. So next, Brian's going to talk about what's trending in the market and what are some of the rising stars as well. So Brian, go ahead.
Thanks, Bill. So so these are the top 10 products. And when you look at in the 22 year, what were the fastest growing, the most popular products, and really it comes down to dollars, right? So what are consumers buying? And so when you look at the top 10 products, it's a mixture of energy drinks. It's a mixture of kind of functional ingredients. It's kind of the low sugar, especially when you're looking at the on the beverage side. You even have like a carbonated zero sugar Dr. Pepper drink, and so this really kind of solidifies what consumers want today, right? It's really in a beverage format. That's what consumers are wanting. I find it also interesting when you kind of look at the Tattooed Chef bowl. There's also that need for kind of that sustainability of a plant-based, kind of the vegan option as well. When we look at the rising stars, again, it's a very, very similar category, right? So low sugar, functional benefits. You have your vitamins. You have kind of that ghost energy drink that really caters to that Gen Z demographic. Hydration, one of the other themes that Bill was mentioning. And Olipop is really a disruptor in that soda category, right? So when you kind of look at the Cokes and Pepsis of the world, Olipop really stands out from the crowd of being a low sugar soda that also offers different types of functional ingredients, and that's super popular amongst consumers today. And then so just again re-emphasizing that the data supports the notion that consumers are really looking for that energy burst, that sustained energy. They want things low sugar, and really, again, I love it when the theory balances with the actual data. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Bill.
And alternate nutrients. Now let's talk about a few of the key ingredients in each one of these categories. I won't read all these, so I want to really pinpoint a few hot ones at the moment. So we all know about caffeine, but caffeine and the amino acid L-tyrosine were the most prevalent and fastest growing ingredients for nutraceuticals and functional launches. Now, in terms of amino acids, L-tyrosine is an amino acid that helps with mental alertness and the energy to think more clearly. So if we think about vitamins and minerals, we're looking at B vitamins, right? That those continue to show up in most of these energy products. And B vitamins help support cellular energy production and help assist the breakdown of carbs, fats, and protein to help produce ATP, so adenosine triphosphate, that energy source. Now, ashwagandha has been getting a lot of talk lately, and again, it's really around that brain focus and mental clarity here. So when we look at botanicals, ashwagandha stands out quite a bit, and that can help with stress and help bolster energy, endurance, and recovery too. So if we take a snapshot of the quick burst need state, again, it's a quick start, right? The idea of performance energy is that, as we said, it's 80% dominant, so beverage dominant, so it's very beverage heavy. Our caffeine levels that we see are ranges from 150 all the way to 350 milligrams of caffeine. Some key trends is, again, high to mid caffeine. They want no or low calories. They want additional focus ingredients. We just talked about some brain mental focus ingredients. They want non-stim options too, which continues to grow as well as some of those stim options. So that non-stim category continues to get popularity as people don't like the jittery feeling of some of those ingredients. Some popular ingredients, again, is caffeine. We see CoQ10, creatine, taurine, B vitamins, as I mentioned, amino acids, and carnitine, just to name a few of the hot ones at the moment. Now, Glanbia Nutritional has many stable energy solutions to help our customers with the quick burst needs. For example, RTD, you can start by selecting your energy bioactive solutions like our stable creatine, which is CreaBev. Next, you can choose an energy micronutrient like carnitine, and finally, you can choose a caffeine. So we can really help in designing this formula in terms of an RTD that's stable. So here's an example of an RTM. As you can see, there are different ingredients specifically designed and stable to make an RTM. Now, we make it easy to help you create your ideal energy product for quick burst options. So if we look at sustained vitality in terms of a snapshot, again, the idea that we like to say win the day, having that sustained long energy, it was pretty split between beverage and snack. And our caffeine levels that we see could be zero. It could be zero all the way to 150 milligrams of caffeine. It falls in this category. Now, some key trends here are sugar and carb reduction. We see flavor expansion, natural sources of caffeine and energy. Again, we said before, high protein that really helps people stay satisfied for a longer period of time and continues to be a topic when consumers think of protein. They think of clean, they think of energy, they think of a good for you product. Ingredients to help with mental focus and sharpness like ashwagandha, lion's mane, choline, and some additional popular ingredients are, again, protein, natural caffeine, and L-theanine. And once again, here we set up this graphic to show you how to formulate an RTD and a bar. No matter what your goals are, Glanbia Nutritionals can help you develop an optimized energy product from ideation all the way to commercialization. We really try to make it easy for our customers. So at this point, I'm excited to introduce a new product. You might have seen some buzz about it lately. It's called Opti ATP. So ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, is a primary source of cellular energy for all living things. Now, this ingredient acts as a non-stim energy source that fuels performance and aids in muscle growth and recovery. And we are the first ones to introduce this into a beverage. So it's super, super exciting stuff. It's a non-stim, stable form of ATP in low pH, high acid, and high heat process, and can be combined with other beneficial ingredients. So remember, it's non-stim. So if you have a product that is a non-stim, you can add this to it, and it won't dilute the product. It's actually going to enhance it quite well. And think again, energy, endurance, muscle growth, strength, and recovery. And then we also have 6 human clinical studies to support the benefits of this product. So really exciting stuff. We'd love to talk to you more about this. Send us a message. We'd love to really get into this with you. Great energy product. I wanted to show you, I know this is kind of an eyesore and it's kind of hard to see, but we do have many, many, many different solutions for energy for many different areas and formats. So beverages, RTDs, snacks, gummies, gels, you name it, we can help you in that area. So as a summary to this is we really, as we mentioned to the beginning of the presentation, that energy and alertness are the top health claims consumers are looking for. And that has expanded beyond just the energy need for sport and fitness. Again, it's everyone's looking for energy. And despite the perception that energy drinks are unhealthy, consumers still choose energy drinks as a preferred energy source. Now, consumers need energy for mental clarity, focus, and energy for any occasion, and are looking for brands to help optimize their energy needs. And I think we demonstrated that today with the idea of quick bursts and sustained vitality. And finally, Glanbia Nutritionals is here to help support these needs for your next launch and can help optimize your energy solutions for any occasion. Glanbia is so much more than just an ingredient supplier. We can help our customers at every stage of the new product development commercialization cycle. Now, our collaborative approach to develop an innovation is a key differentiator for GN versus our competition. So we want to talk to you more about this. We will be at Natural Products Expo West next week, actually, and those dates are March 14th through 16th. This is a preview of our booth. So we have a 10 by 30 there. where we're talking all things energy. You'll see us introducing OptiATP there. Keep an eye out too, as Brian in the Food Institute will be filming some content with some of our R&D folks, product specialist teams, and some of marketing. I'll be there as well, so love to meet you, chat with you further, say hi, and explore all of our products surrounding energy. Also, OptiATP. So we have a lot of information. Use OptiATP to help differentiate yourself from the competition. So with that, we'd like to thank you for joining us in today's webinar. I hopefully didn't go too quick, but I think we're right on time, so it's great. I'd like to thank Brian and the Food Institute for hosting with me and providing great information on the important topic of energy in the food and beverage space. And at this time, I think we have a few more minutes left. We'll open it for Q&A, so go ahead and type those questions in the Q&A section below. If we don't get to them today, we'll follow back up with you. And once again, appreciate everyone's time today.
Great.
So let's see. I'm just scanning through here and see what we have here. Let me look at my other screen here, Brian. 1 second here.
Sure.
Looks like here. This one's for you here. Can you delve deeper into what are the factors that are causing consumers to snack more versus eating traditional meals? And it's a two-parter, Brian. What are the implications for food and beverage manufacturers as it relates to the energy market? Do you need me to read that back? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for that. Thank you for the question. It's really, the snacking behavior really got accelerated during COVID. And one of the main things that I would say is that the lines between work periods versus kind of home and family periods, those lines have completely blurred, right? And so one of the things that consumers have been doing is, because there's less delineation between these periods, they're constantly working, right? And I can share like personal example. Like I work from home now, right? And my team of 17 across the country, we're fully remote. I'm working more now than when we actually had a physical office during the pre-COVID days. And so for me to think about meals and plan for meals has come lower on the totem pole. And so, snacking throughout the day, something that I don't need to think, but also has the energy needs, the functional needs, the health needs that I want, I could eat on my terms. And again, this goes back to one of the mega trends on personalization or even hyper customization. This is really why consumers are snacking more. And I would also want to emphasize that on the Gen Z, the Gen Alpha, kind of the younger demographic, this is how they eat more and more, right? And a part of it is driven by kind of the social media. The screen time. The average consumer consumes about 5 to 6 hours of screen time on digital devices per day. That's a lot. They're driven by kind of that sort of consumption of media, but also their own lifestyles have changed as well, right? And so snacking is one of the primary forms of how they get their energy throughout the day. And so what does it mean for the energy market? I think it's a huge opportunity, right? I don't see this mega trend or this theme changing anytime soon. And so there's a lot of white space here. And I love the fact that, companies like Glanbia really provide a customization, right? Whether it's for that quick burst, whether it's for that sustained vitality, there's really, you can almost create the perfect blend of one or two products that really address the major needs of consumers. And so whether it's on the beverage side, whether it's on the food and the health bar side, this level of customization and really being able to address each consumer need states, I think it's really a huge opportunity. So I continue to see a lot of growth ahead for this category.
Great, thanks, Brian. Yeah, it looks like we're getting a few more questions here around getting a copy of the presentation. Yes, you'll just use that same link. You'll receive an email with the link for the on-demand version that has all this detail on here too. So I had a few questions on that. Let me look at the other one here too. Do you see Oh, this, and I'll take this one. What prototypes will you be featuring at Expo West? So we actually have, it's interesting, at our booth, we have quite a few, and we'll have an aura display. If I don't know if I can go back here to this picture really quick here. So I hopefully you can see this, but right in the middle here, this is what we call our aura display, and we'll actually feature, different formats, and assembled by quick bursts as well as sustained vitality need states. So it's nice. We'll have, I have a few here that I marked down earlier before, as we have a gummy, so caffeinated gummy. We have RTDs, we have gels, and then RTMs and bars. So there's a lot of different variety there, which is nice. So you can see the different formats that we have to help with the energy space. And we sorted them by quick bursts and sustained vitality, just to stick with the theme there. Great question. Let me see what else. Check this. Let me check the screen over here. Looks like we got a couple more. We'll take. I think we'll take one more. If you did put in a question too, we'll follow back up. We have a list of those, and we will follow back up with you. Here's one. What do you see happening in the gummy market for energy? Gaming market for energy. I think, Brian, I'll maybe I'll take this first, and then if you want to jump in, you
Sure.
too. I mean, it's a huge market. I think it's 1.5 billion in revenue, and esports has taken off, and I think we're going to continue to see growth there. We show growth in that area, and I believe additional brands are going to come into the space. I know Ghost has done a nice job with their Ghost Gamer product line, and they're really focusing in on that gamer community. And they've done a nice job with a couple of different formats too. I think they have ready to mix, so RTM, as well as the beverage format too. So nice job with them. I continue to see that growing as that gaming community continues to look for focus and attention there too. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, but
yeah. So what I would say is that, going back to screen time, right? And especially like with the advent of the Apple Vision Pro and devices like this, is next generation type of kind of AR VR. This is only going to increase the amount of time consumers are gaming, right, and are in that digital world. And so I think it's a huge market. It's a huge market. If you kind of look at outside of the U.S., in the Asian markets, they outpace us in terms of the amount of time they spend in gaming. So I do think that as this technology improves, with the Vision headsets, we're going to see that translate into a U.S. market. So it's a high growth area, and we'll see how the technology evolves. But based on the initial consumer feedback, people like the virtual world. There are other competitors out there like Meta have their devices, their next generation. So this is only going to fuel the need for food and beverage energy products in the marketplace.
For sure. Yeah, let me see if we have any more. I think we're just about out of time here. Let's see. Okay. Well, I think with that, if I missed your question, then we'll follow back up. Or if you have a question after the fact, please send it over. We'd love to chat with you. I would just also say that, again, at Natural Products Expo West, if you're coming there, we would love to talk to you. We'd love to spend some time, meeting with you, talking about energy or our other solutions that we have, from cheese to bioactives, to anything that we have. We have up in the slide here our contact information, so we'll leave it up for just a little bit longer here, but Brian's and myself. So send us an email if you want to set up some time to meet out there. Both of us will be there throughout the week, either at the booth or multiple places. And again, Friday, we'll be filming some footage for future content as well. So with that, Brian, again, thank you so much. I appreciate you co-hosting with me here. And thank you to everyone else who has jumped on and asked some great questions, really engaged in this. We hope to continue to engage with you further on the world of and growing world of energy. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone.